common thread here is being responsible and being aware, and then picking a way to train and teach that awareness in a way that works in accordance with your home and your values and what works with you. Let me ask you another one that might be, I don't know exactly how to phrase it here, but I can imagine being an expert. And again, the book, Sharonhood, and being the expert that you are, and people come to you and the success that the book has had, there's got to be some situations that are uncomfortable, kind of icky, astonishing, mind boggling, dangerous, unfortunate, ugly, that you've come across, whether it's in your legal life or your home life, or being this expert in this Sharonhood idea. Have you ever run into anything so outlandish, whether it's predators or online drugs or bullying, that's been so unbearable, you don't even know where to begin, but you know who you are as a mother, your core virtues as a person who's an advocate for children and in digital health and well-being, that it's something that you can't turn away from, but it's really hard to face.
Powerful and complicated question. And the example that immediately comes to mind is from publicly available. There was a YouTube channel that was on a couple of years back called Daddy O 5. And I write about this in the book. Daddy O 5 was a so called prank channel, putting it in quotes there because some of the so called pranks that were being played on children, it got so alarming for the folks watching them. And I was not one
Mm,
of the original viewers. I read the media coverage. It was so alarming for the folks watching them that they called Child Protective Services
wow.
to report potential abuse or neglect. And so I was researching this for the portion of the book that talks about commercial parenting, or what some people might call influencers or YouTubers who use their kids as part of their show, their content.
Right,
And so
right.
I went to do some research on Daddy O 5 to write about it. And I did have this very uncomfortable moment. And I was watching as a researcher, I was not watching for entertainment value. But there is this pit of your stomach feeling that you get when you see a child subject to behaviors that I agree with the viewers who call Child Protective Services. There's nothing funny
Right,
about that.
right.
And then you get uncomfortable as a researcher in particular, because in order to have conversation with people who need to be aware that parents and other adults are enacting abusive or neglectful behavior on their kids and calling it funny, right? To have that conversation, you not only have to know what you are talking about, such that you have to, subject to appropriate bounds of not watching anything that would be criminal for you to possess, of course, but you need to know what is out there. But then to actually talk about it runs the risk of somehow keeping it going. So to be even more concrete, there was a YouTuber who did a segment about Daddy O 5, and
Mm,
very well done segment. And the whole point of the segment was, this is inappropriate and unacceptable on YouTube. I thought the whole thing was really done with empathy and credibility, and it was a real public service. Here's the thing, though, to make it meaningful so that the audience knew what the YouTuber was talking about, the
right.
YouTuber showed some of those clips. And there was a warning that some of this content may be uncomfortable. So, in order though to have that discussion and issue that warning, the YouTuber was actually continuing to make that content available and searchable in.
Right. Right.
Going with this, Seth, is that when you're trying to raise concerns about parent choices that abuse, neglect, or even, much less severely, embarrass or make their kids uncomfortable, if you're going to have informed, meaningful conversations about it, you run the risk of perpetuating not just the behavior, but access to the content. And so you can see, I gave the name of the channel. It was reported in the Washington Post. I haven't said the name of the YouTuber that
Right.
segment on it. I don't want to draw more eyeballs, not because I disagree with what that person said, but because I'm trying to figure out, in my role as an expert, how to have an informed, ethical, valuable conversation without inadvertently generating some sort of voyeuristic interest that means more people are putting eyeballs on what happened to this child who hopefully will grow up and be able to get a fresh start at some point.
Thanks for stopping in and watching this video. If you found it helpful, you can find others just like it at the link below, and subscribe while you're at it.